Freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch to goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide, nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time, and these are featherweight and super comfortable.
Legend begins where heroes end.
Why are you still wearing those old clunky shin pads when you could be wearing these?
I used to struggle with shin guards sliding all game. These are a game changer. Put them on, you don't even notice them. They're comfortable, keep you going until finish.
It shows how fast you move on the pitch because it's stuck to the shin bone and does not slip and slide all around the shin.
No distractions, no readjusting, just focus on the match. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material is soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there. These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. What I like about these is you can wear them all day. Training, recovery, travel, they never lose shape. The material is soft and supportive. It's the perfect mix of comfort and performance. The first thing I notice is that these guards don't move. Once they're in place, they stay there. I can tackle, sprint, or slide without adjusting them. I feel secure and locked in. My first impressions of the GOATS guards, honestly, super light and super clean. Straight away, you can tell they're built to move with you. No bulk, just sleek protection that actually feels pro. These guards don't move. The first thing I notice is that these guards don't move. Once they're in place, they stay there. I can tackle, sprint, or slide without adjusting them. I feel secure and locked in. No bulk, just sleek protection that actually feels pro. My first impressions of the GOATS guards, honestly, super light and super clean. Straight away, you can tell they're built to move with you. No bulk, just sleek protection that actually feels pro. These grips actually help you push off. It's like every bit of power goes straight through the ground. No slip, no wasted energy. You feel sharper, quicker, and more connected. It's a proper level up. I can't believe my GOATS pack has arrived. My first impression of the GOATS grips, honestly, clean design and a premium feel. Straight out of the pack, you can tell they're built different. Soft stretch and solid grip panels. They just feel like performance gear, not regular socks. These grips actually help you push off. These grips actually help you push off. It's like every bit of power goes straight through the ground. No slip, no wasted energy. You feel sharper, quicker, and more connected. It's a proper level up. Straight out of the pack, you can tell they're built different.
Hi everyone, I hope you're well. Happy Thursday. A big thank you for joining us. We've got an amazing an hour ahead again. We're going to be covering off 2 more sessions today. And as ever, we have got our Q&A that we're going to go through as well. So if you've got any questions, remember, if you're not a subscriber in YouTube, subscribe to our channel and you'll be able to drop in questions in the comments. If you are already a subscriber, please drop in a question if you would like to ask something. And yeah, we'll do our best to answer that towards the end of the call. What I am going to do is, I've got the screen set up and ready to go. So we're going to jump across to our other screen here. And a couple of things we're going to speak about is in regards to a couple of posts that we got dropped in today. And I'm just going to see if I can find this one. So we got a great question today from Christian Boyle. He actually DM'd me and he actually dropped it into the chat as well. And he basically wanted to know if we could help him out with the high wave, the half pull spin and the fake inside cut. I come back to him and I was honest and I said, I don't think I've got any videos or content for that. Within 5 minutes of me flicking it out to my network in the UK and Europe, we got the videos back and they were up posted within inside 10 minutes. So a big thank you to Dave over at Leicester City in England, and also our friends Tony at Fulham Football Club in the Premier League. So a big thank you for sending us those videos across. So if anyone is interested in these videos and what they are and the skills that they do, they're all in here, and all the YouTube clips are being dropped in there for you to have a little look through them. So I hope you enjoy them. We've got lots of people posting daily planners in the community, which is amazing to see. GPS tracking results, juggling challenges. Khaleesi's dropped in some really, really good posts this week and videos as well. One of the things I want us to make sure we are though, guys, is I'm not seeing many players dropping match objectives in. Okay, so I really want to see a big uplift with match objectives. Okay. So apart from that, we are all set to go. We're going to go in and I'm going to just walk you in currently what we've got at the moment. So if we go into our classroom and if we go into our dugout, as we said originally, within our Premier League sessions, I think we've got, let's have a count, 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We've got 18 sessions in there in total. And what we've done is we've dropped them in as the coach-to-coach sessions as well. So we've currently got 6 in there at the moment. And I've actually got on this screen here ready to go in. We've got 3 more videos ready to go in. So once those 3 go in, which is going to be phenomenal, that's going to put us on 9. And then we're going to be covering video 10 and 11 today. So without further ado, what we will do is we will go in and we will look for video 10 and 11. So 2v2 attack versus defender. I think we actually did cover that one and I'll just double check, but I'm sure we've got that one in there. So our first one is with the extra man, and then we're going to do midfield transition as well. So I'm going to play this short video, guys. It only goes for just under 2 minutes. And then whilst we're playing the video, guys, if you can make some notes, if you can make some notes on your device, your iPad, pen and paper, drop some comments into the group chat. Also, I've just seen that Khaleesi's just said a thank you for the gift that we sent her. Khaleesi, if you've got a chance, if you can post it into the school chat, a picture of what you've got, I'd love to share it on the live call before we finish in the next hour. So if it is possible to take a quick picture of it and post it. If you've already done that, drop it in in the comments that you've already done that, and I'll find the comments to see where you've dropped it in the post for us. So super excited to share that one. We actually sent Khaleesi a gift that I bought back from Barcelona last year. And it was the last game that was played in the Camp Nou before the stadium shut down as well. So it's a pretty special one. And he was a player as well who played for Barcelona who actually threw the scarf into the crowd. And I actually managed to get it because he actually spotted me in the crowd. So I'll actually explain who that was, the player, and who the scarf was thrown in by. So I'm going to play this short video. I hope you enjoy it. And then I'm going to give you a bit of a walkthrough. We're going to do a walkthrough session on the video, and we'll talk a little bit more in the details. So this is a Fulham Football Club, which is in the Premier League. We're going to be looking and following on from the last video. So the last video was 2v2, and now we're going to look at the 2v2 with the extra man. Now we did cover a little bit in the last video about having a floating player, but we're going to go into a little bit more detail on what that looks like and how it should be set up. And remember, when I walk you through the whiteboard session, I'm going to walk you through as if you're coaching 7 and 8, 9-year-olds who've never really played much football or soccer before. And then I'll give you a different version if you're working with a slightly more advanced group or players who are playing open men's or women's, whether it be semi-pro or professional. So I will take you through that and we'll have a little look at that. So I'll play the video and enjoy. Now you'll notice a progression in this session. So before we seen this as a 2v2, now the way we play this game, they actually have a player in the middle, in between the goals. So you'll notice this player here, the number 23 waiting. To score a goal, you've got to be able to bounce the ball off this player. And then once that player bounces that ball back, then you can look to score. So they're not having much success with this. And this is now where the coach gets involved. And again, this is one of the big things that we see in the USA and Australia. There's too much coaching going on. But definitely, if you need to intervene in a session, if you're not seeing success and the players breaking down a lot, then you need to intervene and then coach. But again, one of the big things that we've noticed, and I've noticed over the years in working in Australia and the US, is there's too much coaching going on. Let the game be the teacher. We'll see how this progresses on now, and have a look for the player here in the middle, and also this player in the middle, how they involve the central players to bounce the ball off to score a goal. We'll let this play out and let's see if we can see it happen. So they start with the middle player, and he's a bounce player, and they involve him, and then that middle player then drops back in. And again, so he's a central point to get the play started. So they've got an overload of a 3v2, is to try and help them to get out and attack and score the goal. Great goal, well done. So it's only a short and sharp session with that one, but you don't need to see heaps going on in there. So what I'm going to do is I'll jump straight to the whiteboard, and I will walk you through exactly what we are looking for on this particular part of the session. So I'll just connect up my screen. Just bear with me for a couple of seconds, and hopefully we can get connected straight in. Fantastic. Oops, where's my screen gone? Just bear with me, I just knocked it off by mistake, but I'll just reconnect it. There we go. Now I was aware that on a couple of the previous videos we've done, a few people were saying that their screen was getting cut off at the bottom. So I just want to make sure that you guys can see my screen fully, and none of the bottom is being cut off, and I want to make sure that we get the full screen in on this one. So hopefully everyone is seeing the full screen and nothing is cut off anymore. So we've got the 2 versus 2, and we've got it set up with the overload. So what I'm going to do is I will set up our little pitch here. So we'll put the goal in here. So we got 1 goal there, we got a goal here, and we got another little mini goal there, and we'll say that we got another little mini goal here, another little mini goal there. And again, you don't need a lot of space for these pitches. Okay, you can work in very, very, very small and tight spaces. So let's say we've got the A team playing the B team, and the way that we seen it set up on the screen was we had the B team players here, so we'll say B and a B, and we had a B player there, and then we had the same with the A's. We had an A and an A, and we had an A there, so we'll call that the A team, and we got the B team. Now, what we're looking for is with this, we're trying to see if we can move the opposition around, and we're trying to utilize the overload. Now, one of the big things that we were hoping to see, and we didn't see it happening a lot at the beginning in the first minute of the game, was it was breaking down a little bit. It was a little bit, we would say, messy, and not as in Lionel Messi, but just messy. It just wasn't working really well. But I want to reiterate this for coaches. When a session looks messy and the players aren't getting it and it's breaking down in the first minute or the first 10 seconds, that's okay. That actually means that we've actually got something called development happening, and it's a challenge for the players. Now, if it's constantly breaking down and they're never getting a pass away, then that's a different story. So let's pull it back to, say, 7, 8 and 9 years of age. Boys and girls who are just starting the journey, maybe only training once or twice a week, and they're struggling a bit with this. What can you stop and reinforce them to do and to try and help them? Now, we've made it paramount that the player that's really important in this game now is the player in the middle here. Now, what we can do is we can say that player A and player B in the central area are what we call free, or a floating player. Now, what that means is, my understanding that and the way I would coach that is, any of the floating or the free players, they can't be tackled, okay? So what that does is it allows our teammates here and here to play a ball into the floating player and then look to affect the play and look for a new space to go to. And that's what we want to see. So if you're coaching those really younger age groups, what you can do is you can enforce the rule that the central players are not allowed to be tackled. Now, this is what might start to happen. With the 7, 8s and 9s, even 10s, this player here and this player here might start to hold on to the ball a little bit too long, and it's not realistic. So what you can do is to basically beat that, is say to them, okay, if you are in the central zone, you've only got 3 seconds on the ball. And if you go past 3 seconds, I'm going to roll a new ball in and give it to the opposition. Now, where would you stand as a coach? If you're a volunteer coach or a parent coach and you're only new to the game and coaching it, my best advice would be you stand right here and you have all of your balls here. Now, if that player takes longer than 3 seconds, shout very quickly, ball's out to play, and then feed in a new ball to our central player here. And that will reset the play. That A team will then kick that ball out, and then everyone will be back into play. And then hopefully that's a great way of stopping players hanging on to the ball and slowing the whole play down. So that's from a younger age group. before we go into a more advanced group or an older age group, what are some of the things that we're looking for within this session? Quite simple. When we are in what we call BP, which stands for ball possession, we want to try to create space. How do we create space? Quite easy. If we're saying we're the B team and we're on the ball here, we know instantly this player is going to come up to this space here. So all of a sudden, we've got this player's gone there. Now, if this player doesn't get defending principles, this player will probably go touch tight there as well. And that's what happens with junior football. You'll see this happening. Now, I'm not going to turn this into a defending session because it's not. It's a 2v2 with an overload. What we should be looking to do is we should be encouraging our players to play amongst themselves for a couple of passes to encourage this player and this player to move in. Then once we've got that movement happening, and it's called a trigger, that is when the next part of the trigger happens, and this is where the magic happens. I would then do this. Get this player to make a bit of a fake movement in this direction to pull this player in even further. And I would then get this player to play the pass in. Then quite simply, we're looking for this player to delay his or her run this way and go online and then make that run there to hopefully receive the ball in there. So the trigger is a couple of passes between B and B. Then once the players who are in the A team move in, we look to then play it to our central player. If it's in the younger age groups, they can't be tackled if that's the rule. And then B needs to time his run. What we don't want to see is, and I'll reiterate this, and this is where the coaching comes in. This is where after 5 to 10 minutes, you can bring the players in and you can say, you might just work specifically with the B team for 10 minutes. Send the A team to have a drink, but you say to the B team, I don't want your run to be that. Because what that will mean is, once they get to this point, they are in an offside position. And we don't want to be in an offside position. So this is where a little bit of coaching smarts comes into play. So when we're looking at things like 2v2, okay, we're thinking we want this run to be delayed and slow, and then we accelerate with speed here, okay? And that's how we get that player onto the ball. Now, final note, if we want to advance this for the older age groups, or if you're working with a group that are open men or women, what we would look to do is in this scenario is this player and this player will now be able to move off the line and actually be involved in the play. They also will not be allowed to be not tackled. They are allowed to be tackled because it's the more advanced group. But the way you can position this, and you don't necessarily have to set up the cones, but let's imagine there's lines between, and my goals, I've just realised they're not very good, they're not very straight, guys, ignore my goals. A little bit too wide there. We want the lines, let's imagine there's a line that's going along these two posts, and same here. And what we say to these players here and here, they've got to stay in the central areas. These wide areas that we've now got here, these are for the two players who are actually playing in them outfield positions, so they have to stay in those particular positions and they can go all over the pitch. But now what we're doing is by adding in that 3v2, and these players can now play anywhere they want, it's going to enable a lot more movement and a lot more space. So for the advanced level, we'll call them the floating player. will say there's no rules, which means you can tackle that player. Now, there's one more advancement that we can do this one, and I've seen this done before really well, and this is another way we can do it. We can force a player on this side of the pitch and a player on this side of the pitch, and you could give them an orange bib or a red bib and just put them in a different colour from the other two teams, and you can have a halfway line in. So this player has got to stay in this half of the pitch, and this player's got to stay in their half of the pitch. Now, these floating players work on the team. So the floating players work on the team who is always in BP, in ball possession. So what that means is all of a sudden now we are going into a 4 versus 2, and that's what we call a large overload. Does this happen in a game during a week or of a weekend in the Premier League or in La Liga? 100% it does. You see overloads really quick, but there's one area that I would encourage coaches who are working with older age groups and more advanced groups. I would 100% encourage you, okay, to make sure everything is done with speed. And one final thing you might want to add in, if you've got older age groups and you really want to challenge them, you might get them to play everything on 3 or 2 touch only. And that would be my recommendation. So that's a little bit of a look at Fulham Football Club in the Premier League. It's a 2v2 with an overload, so it's a 3v2 or a 4v2, whichever way you set it up. I give you a great example of how you can set it up using younger age groups, players who've never played the game before, and then we then took it up to a more elite base level. Now, if you've got players who are struggling to finish off in that younger age group and they can't string 2 passes together, I would isolate the skill. I would pull it right back down to a basic session of keep everyone on the pitch, get everyone to get a partner, get them to go 5 meters apart and 2-touch football. Receive and send, receive and send. Then tell them very quickly to change partners. You've got 5 seconds to change. Then do it again. Receive and send. Then you might change it to 1 touch only, and they'll start to struggle with this. And then after 5 to 7 minutes, go back into the main game. So remove the isolation and then put it back into the main game. Okay? And that's a great way for the younger age groups to really enjoy playing the game with goals, because they all want to play with goals and to score goals. But also it's really important, and this is what we talk about, a whole part, whole session. So the whole part is what we see in the first game that I walked you through. The part is when we isolate if they're struggling with passing, and then we go back in to then try it again as the whole. So there's nothing wrong with splitting the session out into an isolated passing drill for 5 to 10 minutes. More so for your younger age groups and for boys and girls who are struggling. So hopefully you enjoyed that one. And before we go into our next one, because I'm conscious that we are running a little bit behind with time here and I don't want you to miss out on anything. So I'm not going to go to a break today, but what I am going to do is I'm going to just flick back into the school platform. If anyone does need to run and grab a quick drink, toilet, pen and paper, you can go and do that now. But I'm just going to show very quickly. I'm hoping that we've got a post in here I was hoping to show you. So what we'll do is we'll go into the classroom. And I'm going to have a little look. I'm hoping we've got a post from Khaleesi. There we go. Look at this. So these are some of the gifts and prizes that Khaleesi's won, and the most recent one that we sent her was the Barcelona scarf. She's had the Liverpool one as well, which is amazing. And just to explain where the Barcelona scarf come from, and this is a bit of a special one, I was doing a interview and I was recording at the Camp Nou in Barcelona, and I'd actually know the agent of Lamine Yamal for probably about 2 to 3 years now. And Yamal actually had the scarf after the game. It was a game against Real Madrid in Copa del Rey, and he actually come over and threw the scarf over to me. So Khaleesi, when I said to you it was an extra special gift, it's probably one of the best gifts I'd give anyone. It's actually a scarf that was thrown in from Yamal at the game at the Camp Nou a couple of seasons ago when he first just come on the scene. So hopefully you enjoy that one. Look after it. Don't let Dad steal it on you. And it's nice to see you've got the latest mini Champions League ball here as well. So some good prizes. Now, for anyone who's watching this and you're wondering why Khaleesi's got 2 or 3 prizes, we have competitions that run all the time. And also one of the big things that we have running all the time as well is the leaderboards. And you will notice we've got someone called Jenilyn who's top. She's actually my staff member. So Jenilyn doesn't count. We only include the players in this. So currently Khaleesi is number 1 on the leaderboard for players for 7-day, 30-day and overall. So there's the reason why Khaleesi's had quite a few prizes lately. And she's got that extra special one from Barcelona, which is a pretty special one, and I hope she enjoys it. Maybe pin it up, put it up on your wall, and look after it. So thank you. Now, we're going to go straight into our next one. So we'll go back into classroom, and we are going to go into the dugout again. And we've just done 2v2 with an extra man. I believe we've got another session from Fulham, correct? Now, the one that we're going to be looking at now, again, is one called Midfield Transition. And again, it's got an overload, okay? And what I will do again, I will try and make this really basic for those younger age groups and for those coaches, volunteer coaches who are working with a group who's not really familiar with the game. And then what I will do then, I will then drive it up to that more advanced stage. Again, if you're working as a coach or a volunteer coach with a particular age group and you want an example of what you should be doing with that age group or how you can progress the session, my advice would be drop me a post in the community within school and I will be more than happy to send you a reply back. So what I'll do is I will play this short video. It only goes for 2 minutes. Again, get a pen and paper, drop me questions in the comments, and enjoy and make as many notes as you can. So you'll notice in this session, the first thing to look out for, we've got 3 different colours. We've got red, we got blue, and we've also got the green. So this is a great game that you can set up, guys. You can set up any dimensions, really. The tighter, the better sometimes. What we've got is you've got the blues on the outside and you've got the green or the yellow and the reds in the middle. Now, we use the blue players on the outside to bounce the ball off. The team in possession is their green or the yellows currently, and they're allowed to bounce the ball off the blue players. Now, obviously, if a red player intercepts and wins the ball, then the reds are in possession and they get to utilise the blue players on the outside. This is a great game for tight spaces. You want to encourage 1 to 2 touches in this small square or circle, whatever you set up. It's your preference. And what we want to do is encourage passing, movement and communication. Also, what we're looking for is, again, we spoke about this before with the coaches at Fulham in the Premier League, is that the big focus on youth development at the moment is all around transition. So what transition means, if you're a coach or a player, transition means if you're in possession and then you lose the ball, what are you transitioning to next? Are you going to go man to man? Are you going to mark spaces? Are you going to close off spaces? Also, transition also means if you're currently defending, but then your team wins possession, how are you transitioning to attack? Are you looking to fill spaces or holes on the pitch? So these are some of the areas that we're looking for. So again, guys, what you can look to do is rotate the players. So the blues are now coming out, and you can rotate your colours. And again, you can time this for 3, 4, 5 minute sections. And the encouragement that you want to see is that transition constantly going on. So that's a great one, and I love that one. And apologies, I don't know why I said green, but there's definitely no green. It's yellow, blue and red that was on that pitch. I think I've gone a little bit colourblind there. What I am going to do is I will just pull up my screen really quickly for you again. And I will, yeah, perfect. So you should be seeing my screen now. So midfield transition, again, we're at Fulham Football Club in England. And we've got 3 teams set up. We got the blue, the red and the yellow. Now, one of the things that we're working on is midfield transition. Now, with the younger age groups, now it might be hard to do, or it might be one that they struggle to do, but you won't know until you try it. Now, you will notice as well, and I'm not going to explain what these are yet, but if you have a little look here, they actually had what we call dummies on the floor, and they were side on, and they are actual little mini goals. They were set up as goals. You don't actually see the progression on this video, but I'm going to explain a little bit later on what that progression's for. So if we're talking about our younger age groups and we're trying to work on midfield transition, well, where's the midfield? Well, the midfield's actually happening all the way in here. This is the middle of the park. This is what we're imagining. Now, why is it so busy with lots of players? Well, that's what a midfield looks like when you're trying to get through that midfield. Okay, so blues are what we call our support or floating players. So if we put our blues here and we put them as our floating players, that means they're supporting whoever is in ball possession. So if the blue player's got the ball here and we know the yellows are in possession, he or she will play that ball there. Now, with the younger age groups, what does success look like? If they are able to get it from this blue player here and get the ball into this blue player here. For me, from blue to blue equals 1 goal. Now, once they've scored, the yellows will stay in possession and the blue will play back to a yellow. Then they go from shooting in this direction to now, once they've got it into this guy here, they'll now shoot in this direction. Now, what happens if they lose possession? Well, it's quite simple. The reds then come into possession. Now, if you're working with younger age groups, for me, if you can get younger age groups to recognise blue players are like the floating players, okay, and they're supporting them and they're part of the overload of that team, it's going to help them basically work on midfield transition. What's the transition? The transition is quite simple. Can we get the ball from this side of the pitch to this side? And with the younger age group, for me, that would be success. If they can get the ball from that side to that side, or from this side to this side, for me, that is success. And that is success for those younger age groups. I wouldn't be interested in doing anything else. That would be a great way to leave it at that. And I would be surprised if 7, 8 and 9s get too much success with that. But again, one of the things that we can start to think about, if we up it up an age group and we're looking at 12s, 13s, 14s, and we're looking at more advanced men, boys or girls teams, some of the things we can start to think about as we go upscale, I would start thinking about really enforcing scanning and 1 to 2 touch football. And that would be, if we're talking about maybe, let's say 12 to 14 years, that could be a great way to upgrade that session. So they do everything the 7 and 8s do, and the 9s, 10s, but they start to be coached on just 1 or 2 areas. And this is one of the things I want you to be really careful of. Don't be going in coaching everything. With the 7, 8s, 9s and 10s, let the game be the teacher. Just keep reiterating the rules. Blues are floating, yellows are in possession. If you lose the ball, the reds are in possession. Now, one of the big things that we can talk about in here is we don't want the blues to be focused on this, but we want the team in BP. So let's say the team in BP is yellow. We want them to be communicating. Okay, and how are they communicating? And we went through this in one of the live calls last week. We want them to be communicating, okay, with command communication. So using the voice, vocal, visual, hand signals, showing the teammates where they want it, okay? So that's what we should be looking for. There's some of the things we should be seeing. Now, a great way to progress this, if you're doing this with a more senior group, so I'm thinking maybe 15 plus for boys and girls up to open. This is a great progression for this game. And I've used this a lot, especially when I was at PSG in France. This was a go-to game that we used to use all the time. Now with this one, obviously with the older age groups, you probably want to make your space a bit bigger than the space that we've set up here. So make sure your space is a bit bigger. With your squad size, most squads have around about 18 players. So you could actually split this into 2 groups of 9. You could have 2 pitches side by side. So straight away what you do here is you might look to move out the side players because we want to make it really, really tricky to get through this midfield transition for the older age groups. So all of a sudden now we've got 3 yellows, 3 reds and 3 blues, and that will enable you to make this more realistic, because this would be like, if you're playing a 4-3-3, this would be like playing in a 3 in the midfield and you've got an overload of fullbacks coming in and joining you, okay? Now, one of the big things that you can encourage here is, the rule is you need to get that you've received the ball from one blue and you need to get it to another blue, okay? And then you receive it from a blue, and then they're allowed to score a goal. Now, where are the goals? We spoke about this before. We got 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. And you've seen in this video, and I'll just show you it again, what they actually used in this video was basically just the mannequins. So you don't need goals. You don't need small goals with nets. You can use your imagination. Now, the reason why they use these mannequins is because there's another progression a bit later on where the mannequins stand up and they utilise the mannequins to create second man runs and recovery runs. And we won't bother you with that one for now because it starts to get really advanced. But if you have a look at this one quickly, you'll see where the mannequins are on the floor. And the mannequins are just laying down on the side. So they're quite easy to see. And you'll see them in a moment just come into view. So we'll just play this one back for you. There it is, just on the floor there. So you'll see the mannequins, and then what they do is, within this setup, they would then look to score in one of those goals. So that would be a great way of progressing that session. Now also, you know, if you go, well look, I've only got 16 in my men's squad available who are fully fit. How do we do that with 16? Do it in 2 groups of 8. And what you can do is, to make it even harder, you can get rid of this player here. You've got 2 groups of 3. So a team of yellows in 3. You've got a team of reds in 3. You've removed that floating player in the middle, which means it's going to be even harder. Because now the yellows, if they're in possession, it's a 3v3 in that midfield, and it's more game-like and it's more realistic. Most teams nowadays play 4-3-3, so there's always 3 in that midfield to get through. Now, who would this particular player be here? Well, depending on the way you're shooting, but this might be your number 10 or your number 9. Who would this player be? This would be your centre back or your holding mid. So just to give you an idea of who these B players would be in the game. So again, it's more about the environment. It's more about how you set the session up rather than stepping in, coaching all the time. What would I be coaching with the older age groups with this one? What I would be coaching, you shouldn't be speaking to senior men or women about scanning or 1 to 2 touch football. If you are, then you've got major problems, okay? If you've got the younger age groups, you don't even speak about scanning or 1 to 2 touch football. For the younger age groups, the babies, the 7s, the 8s, the 9s, the 10s, success is being able to get the ball from one B to another B. Okay, that will be a huge success for those age groups. What are you going to be stepping in and coaching on this one if you're working with the more advanced, older, open age groups, men's or women's? I would stick it to 2 things, okay? And the 2 things that I would be looking for and I would be focusing on, 1 to 2 touch only, and look to play everything as early and forward as possible. What does that mean? You might set a rule that every pass has to always go forward. So every pass goes forward. Now with the older age groups, you can have a lot more of a larger space to work in. So it's going to be more realistic to the middle of the park. But every pass has got to go forwards, because if we're talking about transition in the midfield, you're not going to see a ball bounce around in the midfield for 25 passes, then go back to the goalkeeper, okay? We want to transition. If we're talking about successful transitions, we want to talk about transitioning from the back through the midfield and up to our striker or our 10 as fast as we can. How do we achieve that? Every single pass is early and every single pass has got to be played forward. Now, what might start to happen is you don't have players in the right positions, so you need to then start speaking about positional sense and game awareness. And the big one that we used to always speak about, especially in the Premier League at Leicester City, was game intelligence, okay? So hopefully you enjoyed that one. That was another great session. So midfield transition from Fulham. So that's another 2 sessions done and out the way. What I am going to do is now I am going to drop back into our school platform, and I'm just having a little look at the screen just to see if we've actually got any questions coming in. And I will just pull this one down and we'll have a little look at the community as well. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and I'm just looking to see what comments we've got and if we have got any questions in here at all for those 2 sessions. Guys, again, if you want to ask anything whatsoever, please feel free to drop in a question on the comments there for us. That would be amazing. If you need anything you would like to ask, I'm just going to have a quick scan while I am talking to you, just to see if there's anything relevant that we need to speak about. I am starting to see as well, which has really impressed me, a lot of sleep trackers. A lot of you are submitting your sleep trackers. Okay, so well done to all of those players who've done that. We've had another Champions League ball drop, so that's great to see. That was from Taylor. Love it. So I don't know if you're aware, but with these Champions League balls, these are the balls that's going to be used for the final, okay, which is going to be in May. And there is a post on the community at the moment which enables you to pick the 2 teams who are going to be in the final. And I believe there's a prize pack of $250. And all you've got to do is log on to the community, connect to our school community, and guess who's going to be in the final in May. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, the final's in Bucharest, which is in Mr. Dominik Szoboszlai's home. And he plays, obviously, for Hungary at an international level, and he's the captain. What you will notice about these balls, they are really, really cool. They've actually got all the different star signs on, And it's quite funny that Taylor showed the picture of my star sign. So I'm actually a Leo. What would be really good to know is if anyone who's won the Champions League balls, we send 5 of them out. Tell us what your star sign is and drop it in. And I'll actually share a post to you on how star signs actually affect Premier League players and their sleep patterns. And we actually discovered something which was really interesting about depending on the star sign you are can determine how your sleep patterns are going to go through different parts of the year, which was really, really interesting. So that was a great one. So big thank you to Taylor for sharing that, and well done on winning that ball. Remember, if you've got them size 1 Champions League balls, we've got a great little picture here as well from Khaleesi, which is great to see. And she's got the Barcelona scarf. I wonder if she's been smelling it to see if she can smell Lamine Yamal. Let's see if there's any smell still on there from him. Brilliant, look at that. And she's got a little Messi figure as well, which we sent her, which is great to see. So a little bit of a good luck charm there as well for you, Khaleesi. Well done in winning the scarf and the little Messi feature on there. Again, as ever, well done to everyone. We're seeing a lot of GPS trackers. Like, this is a phenomenal one from Khaleesi, which I'm going to share with you. I was looking at this one earlier on, but look at all of the amounts of sessions she's logged on a tracking chart, and it shows you all of her maximum speeds, her total distances. So just from that alone, we could put that straight into our system, and then we can spit out what she's doing on average each week, and we can tell exactly how many minutes and hours she's doing and if she's going over. So that is a great tracking chart from Khaleesi. Well done. There's no surprise why she wins so many prizes. And final one that I'm going to finish on is a great little post from Xavier. It was a little one about Mary Fowler being back at the moment. And yeah, she was injured really badly last year, and it was actually when we were on the tour, and she actually got injured when we were at one of the games. We went to Manchester City, and this is the picture from when we took our group to go and watch them. But thank God she's back, and she's playing back for the Matildas at the moment. Now, I'm looking in, and I've just seen that Khaleesi said she's a Virgo, so that's an interesting one. I will share some information around the star signs and how it can affect your sleep patterns. It's really, really interesting, and I'll share that one with you. But as ever, guys, I think that is me over and out. A big, big thank you for joining me again, and I look forward to seeing you on one of our next live coaching calls. We've got one coming up on Saturday, and if you don't know, I did drop it in. If you have a little look, I will jump back into the screen control because I've just remembered I should have walked you through this. We did make a change in the calendar, and you'll notice now that from this Saturday, all the live coaching calls have changed slightly. So it is on 9 a.m. Saturday morning Brisbane time, and I believe it's 6 p.m. on the East Coast in New York, and it's 3 p.m. Friday afternoon in Los Angeles. Now, we've done that to accommodate our players all around the world, because if you're not familiar, if you go into our map, you will see that we've got players scattered all around the world at the moment. So we need to make sure that we're covering and supporting everyone. We are going to make another upgrade, guys, on the calendar, and you're going to notice that we're going to have specific sessions getting dropped in a couple of weeks' time. There's going to be specific coach-to-coach sessions, there's going to be specific player sessions, and then there's going to be generic sessions as well. And some of the timings are going to start to change slightly as well, so we can accommodate everyone around the world. The way we've designed it is that you should be able to attend, based on your time zone, a minimum of 2 or 3 sessions a week. But as ever, if you're not sure where to find them, if you go into the classroom, if you go into weekly coaching calls, you can actually pull up all of the weekly coaching calls. So as an example, if you want to go all the way back to 2024, you can pull out the 2024, there's the 2025, and you can even go month by month now with all of our weekly live calls. So they're all in there, and you will start to see transcripts added as we grow and keep improving on the platform as well. So a big thank you from me, Raymond Wood, at the Soccer Pathway Pro. We hope you enjoyed that one. A big thank you for joining me. And as ever, please, please, please drop us some questions in the school community if you need to know anything. A big thank you to Christian Boyle, who dropped in a question about looking for some videos. And as I always say, I'll be honest, if I don't have it, I'll tell you. And I told Christian that. I don't think I've got any material on that. But I did, on an off chance, send it out to our guys on the grounds in the UK. And thankfully, our friends at Fulham got back to us, and one of my coach friends at Leicester City. And we managed to get hold of the videos for you. So, as ever, I love a challenge. If I don't know it, I will promise to go away and try and find the information for you. I'm going to leave you with this short ad break. A big thank you, whatever you're up to on your Thursday night. Relax, stay safe. If it's Thursday morning in the UK, enjoy yourselves and have a great day. And I look forward to seeing you all on Saturday.
Simple as that.
One of the things I noticed about my Goats Grip socks is the grip runs across the whole panel, so there's no bunching or sliding in your boots.
These grip pads will help you not slip when you're going in for a tackle.
My old socks will get sweaty halfway through the game. Not with Goats Grips, they stay cool and dry from start to finish.
These guards are so lightweight, you forget they're even there, but they still give solid protection. It's like full freedom to play a game without that clunky feeling. I used to wear bulky guards that slip down every game. These stay in place the whole time.
These shin pads are stretchy, durable, definitely not be ripping anytime soon.
Switch to goat sleeves now. They don't slip, they don't slide. Nice and snug, nice and tight.
It's crazy how light these things are. I've worn a lot of old school pads in my time.